Do the one thing you think you cannot do. Fail at it. Try again. Do better the second time. The only people who never tumble are those who never mount the high wire. This is your moment. Own it. Anybody who hears the name Oprah Winfrey today is very well familiar with the television host and philanthropist who was the first African American woman to have a net worth in the billions. Not a single person, if not told, would believe that she had one of the toughest times that any child could have. She has risen like a phoenix from the ashes of doom to become one of the most influential personalities in the world today. Winfrey was born to a single mother in a downtown place in Mississippi. She was tossed around from her mother to her grandmother for the most part of her childhood. She then endured years of abuse as a child. For the family, they were so poor, that like Winfrey would often wear clothes made of potato sacks and would be a respite for humor for a lot of the other affluent kids around her. Once in a lecture series, she told David Letterman how once her grandmother caned and whipped her just because she dipped a finger in a bucket full of water that was drawn out of the well. And that was not only it. She further said that there would be deep cuts and bruises due to the whipping, leading to profuse blood that would stain her dresses. She was beaten even more for staining her clothes with blood. Winfrey's grandmother was the one who taught her to read before the age of 3. She used to recite the Bible verses in her grandmother's church, and the appraisals that she received was probably the only positive and good thing about her entire childhood. She used to get a vibe of acceptance and approval at the church and its surroundings, which is probably the only thing that also influenced her future career choices in a very grave and serious fashion. Oprah started off her schooling from Lincoln High School, but was later transferred to Nicollet High School, owing to her success in the Upward Bound program. Even in school, she had to face the harsh reality of her existence when her poverty issues were rubbed in her face by her fellow classmates and other pupils in school. She stated in an interview how she was tormented on her way home or, from school in the bus by, the posh kids. That was when she started stealing money from her mother to keep up with her classmates and fit into the school's atmosphere. Winfrey started living with her mother in Milwaukee, Wisconsin when she was 6 years old. Since her mother worked as a full-time maid at various people's homes, she was neglected for most part of her childhood. Her mother used to leave her under the surveillance of her 19-year-old cousin, who actually raped her. Not just him, but Winfrey was constantly abused, both physically and sexually, by many of her relatives, including her mother's boyfriend. Unable to withstand the constant torture, she fled from home when she was 13, and since then she's never looked back at her life with her mother or grandmother. Another traumatic experience in her life was when she became pregnant after a series of sexual abuse, starting when she was around age 14 or so. Well, that particular time, I mean. The boy she gave birth to was actually pronounced dead after a few days due to being born prematurely. Winfrey then started living with her father in Tennessee after she left her mother's family for good. That was probably one of the best things to have happened to her in life. Even though her father was strict, he was far more encouraging. He was the one who persuaded her to complete her studies and keep going with her studies. As Winfrey absorbed herself in studies, she decided to not let her past dictate her future. She decided to rise above her circumstances and use the power of choice to propel her life ahead. She quickly became one of the most popular students in the East Nashville High School and won several competitions, including being bestowed with the honor of the most popular girl. Young Oprah was accepted with a full scholarship at the Tennessee State University after she won an oratory competition. Her first job was probably at the age of 17 when she started working in a grocery store. Winfrey then started working part-time at the local radio station called WVOL, where she was assigned the part of telling news. While her grandmother, Hattie Mae, may not have had high hopes on her granddaughter, she wouldn't deny that her granddaughter had a thing for public speaking. Oprah has always acknowledged her grandmother for cultivating within her the art of speaking in public. That connect with the public came handy to Winfrey when she became the youngest and first black female anchor for WLAC TV in Nashville. By 1976, she was anchoring the 6 o'clock news at WJZ TV in Baltimore. In 1983, Winfrey was recruited as a news anchor for WLS TV Chicago. There, she had to report on a half-hour show called AM Chicago in the Morning. Not much was really expected from her on the show, which had a terribly low rating, but months after taking over, Winfrey made that show one of the most popular shows in all of Chicago, even overtaking The Donahue Show. Seeing the rushes of her show, the movie critic Roger Ebert asked Oprah Winfrey to sign a deal with King World. He predicted that the show would make 40 times as much money as his own show at the movies. King World, the production company, which now has been incorporated into CBS TV production and distribution, launched Harpo Productions, which is Oprah's name spelled backward. Oprah Winfrey's show actually came out on September 8th, 1986. Winfrey took that show to absolutely great heights, moving it from a simple tabloid talk show to episodes that dealt on a broad range of topics, from everything dealing with social issues to geopolitics, from health-related topics to philanthropic efforts, and from acts of valor to reactions to global events. She also began to surprise the audience pleasantly on many occasions, to the extent that on one episode, she gave every audience member a new car, which was donated by General Motors. The term Oprahfication was coined for public confessions on issues of love, weight-related problems, breaking down and opening about sexual abuse, and every other kind of abuse and suppression there is. By the time the Oprah Winfrey show ended on May 25th, 2011, it became the highest talk show in American TV history, which is a feat that still remains unparalleled today. The show went on to win 47 Daytime Emmy Awards, until Oprah Winfrey actually stopped submitting the show for further honors post-2000. While Phil Donahue has been credited with pioneering the concept of a tabloid talk show, Oprah Winfrey is credited with using the talk show format to embrace a wider, humane form of communication, especially since in the mid-90s, where she began discussing themes like self-improvement, health, literature, gender rights, and philanthropy in her shows. Winfrey started her film career in 1986 when she was cast by Steven Spielberg in the movie The Color Purple. She was even nominated for an Academy Award for the Best Supporting Actress role in that film. Her achievements were a fitting rebuttal to people who didn't even bat an eyelid at her presence once upon a time, so long ago. Winfrey has never let her past experiences let her down, but rather she has valiantly fought back against them and shunned through them. She has co-written 6 books today and even had a magazine under her own name. She often mentioned in her interviews that she easily empathizes with people and connects with the audience who have any kind of issues in their life because of her own experiences. Oprah Winfrey is not just the first and only multi-billionaire black person, she is also the most influential black philanthropist ever in the U.S., and she has been repeatedly hailed by various media organizations as the most influential woman in the world. Not bad for a girl whose poverty-stricken family was happy to expect that maybe one day she would just, serve as a maid in a well-to-do family or something. She also received an honorary doctorate degrees from both Duke and Harvard University, while also being conferred with the Presidential Medal of Freedom by the former President Barack Obama in 2013. In 2014, with a net worth of more than $2.9 billion, she overtook the then eBay CEO Meg Whitman as the richest self-made woman in America. Her net worth has always been hovering around that range.
Sadie, we did it! We did it, Sadie! We did it!
Did you find this video helpful? If yes, please hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and press the bell icon for new videos.